I decided to do my essay oral presentation on essay one, which was about Dr. Strain, who was a percussion instructor at Northern Michigan University when I went there. And when I started off the essay, I said that I was asked to write about pretty much any topic, but often when I write about leadership and about topics, I always try to think about what's going on in my life at the time, as opposed to like leadership specific. And so at this time, and actually currently, it was football season, and so it made me think about football. And I'm a big University of Tennessee fan, and I love the Pride of the Southland marching band. And so it made me think back to when I was at Northern Michigan University. I played in the marching band there, and not to give away my age or anything or anything like that, but I played in the marching band there in 1997. So it was when I started playing in there. So that gives you an idea of my age. But at any rate, I was a drummer and I played there. I played there straight out of high school. And Dr. Strain was the percussion instructor there at the time. And the band there was Pride of the North, and UT's band is Pride of the Southland. So when Dr. Strain came, I didn't really care for him at all. And I had no problem letting him know how I felt about him either, that I didn't really care for his style. He just had this, it was a confidence about him, but if you didn't know him, you would you'd be misled to think that confidence was arrogance. And so, he would always walk into a room with a pair of drumsticks and often a cup of coffee, just like the gas station coffee. Nothing fancy, not Starbucks or anything like that, but he would just come with regular gas station coffee. And this was Northern Michigan University, so this was way up north, as far north as you can be without being in Canada. And he comes in, and he's a native Texan, so he comes in with a southern drawl, and it was apparent from day one that he was sizing us up, and we were sizing him up as well. And I said in the paper, it's fair to say that this far north Yankee Yooper did not much care for him at first. Well, then he began to speak. And he started speaking of people that he looked up to. He told us of places he's taught. He kind of went through his resume a little bit, but didn't do it in a manner that was boastful. He did it in a manner like he was informing us of what he had done and where he'd been. Kind of a bit like establishing his bona fides with us in an effort to say, this is how I ended up where I'm at today, as opposed to look at all the stuff I've done. He kind of just gave us he's kind of laid out the trail for us of how he got there. And then he did something that I will never forget. He went into this long story about when he was a marching Texan, and what they had done is they had a big performance with some big donors that were coming there to the university, and there were going to be several of them there. And this wasn't going to be like an ordinary performance. It was like alumni weekend, and there were dignitaries there, and there was like I said, large donors that were all present. And so what they had done is they had come up with this performance where all the drum line was going to be in this really tight. In marching band we call it a chevron. It's like an arrowhead. But they were going to be super tight in this arrowhead, and he was right at the very end of the arrowhead. And they had this maneuver where when the tip of the chevron got to the goal line, everybody would make 180-degree turn really fast, really tight, and head the other direction. Well, when they got there to do the turn, he thought, I'm going to make the best turn ever. It's going to be so tight, it's going to be so fast. And he got up there, and that tip hit the goal line, and every single person in the drum line, there must have been 30 of them, turned to the right, except for Dr. Strain, who turned to the left. So then all of a sudden, here's this whole chevron that spun around and is heading out towards the middle of the field, and here goes Dr. Strain heading the other direction. And he said he was the lone drummer heading the wrong direction. Everybody else was headed towards the goal line. And I'll never forget that story, because what it taught me was you can establish yourself and you can prove yourself as a leader and still make mistakes. And it showed me that it's okay to make mistakes. And what it showed me is that somebody can be really good at their job. They don't have to be arrogant about it. And it also taught me about not judging people. he could have easily not told that story at all, and we would have never thought anything about it. So I guess what I'm in, to put it in a big nutshell, what I would say is it's important for people, if you're going to be a leader, for people that are under you to understand how you got there and why you're in that position. But it's also important to understand that even though I'm the leader, I'm going to make mistakes, I'm going to mess things up, and I have in the past, and that doesn't mean that I don't expect to see the person below me mess up. So what's going to happen is you have to understand we're all human, but it helps to establish yourself and then explain that anybody can make mistakes.